Hello, my name is Acaisha Godwin. I am a sound healer. And so, if you are here to learn about sound from my experience, how I use sound healing tools to support the transformation of my clients, and how I have found them to impact their consciousness, their healing journeys, you are in the right place. You are also going to get an opportunity to connect with the teacher of sound within, to strengthen your intuition, your trust of your body wisdom. Sound healing is a very somatic experience. It is a form of somatic therapy. Although you're not being guided by an external source, another being, compassionate being, you're being guided by the teacher of sound within, the sound current existing within you, the universal sound current that is orchestrating and dancing all of life into its expression, into its divine expression. I'm so excited to have you here. We are focusing on grounding sound healing tools. And so, welcome to the Sound Healing Play Shop, Ground into Sound. We are going to explore the Tibetan Singing Bowls, the gongs, as well as rattles. And so all of these sound healing tools have a very grounding essence to them, and you're going to get to have a firsthand experience of what those instruments really what they create within your being, what kind of experience opens up with these sound healing tools. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have you here. And so I would love to begin by just speaking about the power of sound. And so you guys will see I have some notes right here. So every once in a while, I'm just going to make sure I'm getting everything that channeled through for you guys to come out, because I have been working intimately with sound healing for about 4 years now. And I get lost in time, so it could be a little more or less than that. And sound healing became an obsession of mine when I discovered it, because it allowed me to move through trauma that was arising in my life, emotions. It allowed me to move through things really fast, to integrate transformation with so much grace. And so it became a passion of mine. It also helped me to connect more deeply to my infinite beauty, which allowed me the freedom of expression, has supported me into more of my soul's expression, and to really give myself permission to embody my truth, to share my beauty, to allow myself to be seen. And so that's why I bring this medicine to my community. And so it's such an honor to have you here with me today. Now, in exploring the power of sound, Indigenous cultures around the world have used sound to awaken remembrance and connection with Great Spirit, with the source of creation within and existing outside of us. And so these modalities of awakening with sound were intuitively discovered through self-exploration. And so one of the greatest catalysts to support you into deepening your relationship with sound, because that's really what we are doing as sound healers, as conscious beings bringing sound into our lives, is that we are developing and cultivating a relationship with sound so that we can really start to experience life through the lens of frequencies. Because when we can recognize the frequency of an emotion, the frequency of a story, we're never fully going to come out of the experience of being in a story, but we can start to see like the underlying energy within each story. We can see the frequency of it. And so this creates more opportunities to make conscious choices to come into alignment, into coherence with the Great Spirit within and around us. And so, one of the most powerful things to understand about sound healing and the human body is that the human body is actually a divine instrument. We are walking tuning forks, we are walking gongs. And so, what this means is that the best way to tune our bodies back into harmony, back into a state of prosperity, is with the use of sound. And this can look many different ways. We can use mantras, we can use affirmations. Our thoughts have a frequency to them, and so helping us clean up our affirmations. But we also cannot spiritually bypass things that are happening within us. And so sometimes working with affirmations can just be a little bit limiting. And when we start working with more raw sounds like mantras, these mantras have been passed down through generations, centuries. They are like thousands of years old. And so there is a very strong lineage connected to them, which really helps us to move through the illusions of separation so that we can come back into unity consciousness. Sound healing is somatic therapy. It is a place, like meaning that it deeply connects us to our body's wisdom. It expands our awareness to the roots of unresolved feelings that create trauma in the body, which is really a rejection of feelings that were suppressed. And so that's really important in understanding, like, what is trauma? Why is it important for us to, heal and release the trauma? Is that trauma exists when it forms. It's like if you think of like when you have a cut and then it forms a scar over it. When we experience trauma and we don't meet it with the proper care and love, it forms a scar. It crystallizes. And that crystallization creates a dam in our energetic body, in our bodies, because we are energy. We are moving energy. And when we are in a deep state of health and prosperity, we have that movement. Our body knows that movement. That's why being by water is so nourishing for so many of us, because our bodies are being reminded of the movement that we're supposed to experience inside of our beings, because we are 70% water, about just like Mother Earth, we're a micro expression of her macro body. And so when we are healing when trauma is staying in the body and it has not been healed, it is the manifestation of feelings that were not held, that could not be met and held and truly felt, validated, acknowledged, so that they could come into a resolution and move through the body. And so this idea of sound being somatic therapy is that sound healing deeply anchors your awareness into your body, Yes, we can have those galactic, far out there experiences with sound where we can literally feel our beings dissolve into nothingness, where we can return to that source of creation, that womb of our divine mother and father. But it is a deeply embodied experience. It is bringing you into your body. It's not taking you out of your body. The experiences that are created where we may visit other dimensions of being is possible because we are traveling within our own vessel, within our divine instrument, within the macro expression of the micro expression of the universe. Because really that's what we are. Everything is a fractal of God. And so we are these carriers of the universe. And the more we allow ourselves to come back into coherence, the holism of who we are, we begin to open up this very powerful field of knowing, of wisdom, of heart guidance, of trust, of surrender into the beauty of life. And so sound is such a beautiful support to help us soften into what is alive and present in our being so that we can be present with all the parts of ourselves that deserve that presence, that deserve that compassion and love. I hope you're having fun and that this is just like already tickling your consciousness, because I just like this excites me. And so please do not hesitate to reach out to me, leave some questions in the comments. I will be so happy to answer any questions that you guys leave. And so sound creates a pathway to source energy to entrain our nervous system to its natural state of prosperity. And I would love to just kind of touch on what prosperity is, because what I've kind of witnessed is that it can kind of have these limiting perceptions of what prosperity is. A lot of people associate prosperity with financial abundance, and prosperity, that is a very limiting perception of prosperity. Prosperity is our state of connection. When we are prosperous, we are in a state of connection. We are unity consciousness. We are connected to our infinite beauty and to the infinite beauty of the world outside of us. When we are in the state of prosperity, we are in deep surrender and trust of God's divine plan for all living sentient beings. And our only task in that state of prosperity is presence. And so prosperity really does translate to presence that is all accepting and all loving, all compassionate. And when we are in this place, we are taken care of. And so that's where that kind of energy comes in for, like, maybe financial abundance being connected to prosperity. Yes, that will manifest, but it may not look like the way we may label it onto like these millionaires. It may look differently for us. It'll show up in the ways we need it. And we really just have to trust. And so sound healing creates a pathway to return us to our natural state of prosperity, where we are in connection with the divine within us and within all things, all peoples, where we feel that connection, we feel that compassion, where we're stepped out of the lens of judgment and rejection, where we are in a deep state of acceptance of our humanness, of the world's humanness, of this beautiful journey of evolution. And so sound will help us to reconnect to source energy, to feel that connection with our divine mother and father, so that we can truly prosper in this life. And in the process, when we're in a state of prosperity, we are uplifting the hearts of those around us in every moment, with every moment of connection that we share, whether it's with another being in eye gazing, whether it's a comment to someone, whether it's standing with a tree and just feeling their leaves blow in the wind, or whether it's being with the water. All of these are profound experiences of deep presence, and that is a prosperous state. Sound helps us to restore our divine blueprint. And a part of that divine blueprint is that prosperous state. In restoring our divine blueprint, we are also aligning with our creative wisdom within, to create a life full of purpose, wonder, and beauty. And so this divine blueprint speaks to the idea that we all have a purpose in this life. And the feeling of purposefulness, words sometimes are so funny, right? And so when we are in a deep state of purpose, there is a feeling of connection, that we are part of something bigger, larger than ourselves. And so when we shed away the layers of conditioning, we can really step into our truth and come into alignment with that divine blueprint, that that purpose that God has planted a seed within us. And we can start to nurture that seed and cultivate that soil so that our creative wisdom and vision can blossom into this world for the benefit of all beings. Sound opens up pathways for spiritual growth so that we can refine how we perceive the world, so that we can refine our state of being. Sound opens up doors so that we can reconnect to the subtle realms of spirit. We've had quite an intimate experience with the densities of life, to the extent that some of us have, when we first came into deep, authentic feelings of joy for no reason and bliss for no reason, that was maybe very unknown. And so the comfortable has maybe been this more dense experience of energy. And what sound does, it really starts to inform our nervous system that it is safe to be seen. It is safe to be blissful. It is safe to be all that we are. And so sound healing unlocks our human potential of compassionate love. And what this means is that it unlocks our hearts so that we can see the world through the eyes of compassion, so that we can step out of judgments and step into unconditional acceptance, where we can see the beauty in all things, in all ways, and just like the Divine Mother and Father, allow life to express itself in its unique expression, letting go of control and allowing life to have an experience. Sound healing awakens unity consciousness, and this happens through the process of coherence, where sound is a tool of vibration. And so when we are bathing in these sound healing frequencies, these parts of ourselves that we did not even know existed, these dormant parts of ourselves, begin to vibrate into ecstatic life. They wake up, they come online, and so more of us remembers its existence. So we come into a more expanded state of coherence and remembrance of the interconnectivity within our being. Sound creates space for our body to come into coherence, into remembrance of the interconnectivity of our body, healing wounds of separation. Healing wounds of separation. We are in a collective paradigm shift, and this old story of the world is very much rooted in separation. And it is very important as we're making choices in our current lives is to, when we're making choices, take the time to write down old world stories of separation and new paradigm of unity, and write down the beliefs that are there so that way you can actually make the conscious choices free from the old wounds of separation, so that you can really allow your heart wisdom to guide you through life. Because initially these wounds are of separation is what leads to the disharmony within the body, whether it's manifesting as mental illness or physical illness, emotional overwhelm. Sound healing helps us to come into maturity with our emotions so that we can hold space for our emotions without reacting to them, so that the conscious parents that are existing within us, the masculine and feminine, can meet the wounds of the inner child. But the inner child is not just wounds. The inner child can also lead with its joy and curiosity. And so there's this beautiful interplay and balance of balancing these four energies within ourselves. And so we're going to go into, for the next little bit, we're going to go into the Tibetan Singing Bowls. So, the Tibetan singing bowls are such a beautiful way to begin and end a sound healing journey or experience. I personally usually play them with a mallet that I can tap them with. Some people, though, do play them with these wooden mallets, which have kind of like a velvet on them where you can sing them. My preferred way is to tap them so that I can play other things at the same time, like bells or chimes, or I work with planetary frequencies, but they're not here today because, they're in this room, but we're focusing on the Tibetan bowls. And so I'll show you a couple ways that we can play them just so that you can have an experience with them. And so the Tibetan bowls I find to be really beautiful to play while speaking a guided meditation. And so often I use the Tibetan bowls to start a sound healing experience, a sound healing ceremony. And so I will start with the Tibetan singing bowls, and sometimes I will also play some nature recordings that my partner and I gather on our nature journeys and explorations. And I really find the Tibetan bowls to be really supportive to help people to come into their body, to help clear out the busyness that can happen in the mind, in the monkey mind, so that one can drop into presence with their body and listen to the wisdom. And sometimes what I've witnessed is that some people kind of have judgments about the first parts of their journey of like, oh, like I couldn't just drop in and all of these things. And what I've come to find is that that is actually the thoughts that are coming up, the things that are, we're actually being taught what meditation looks like. And some of us can be kind of fixed in thinking that meditation means that we're sitting completely empty and silent and the mind is like completely like serene. And that's not always the case. Like in I think it's Buddhist meditation, we are taught to allow the thoughts to arise, to not resist them, right? That's where we don't want to be in a place of resistance, but we do want to be in a place of witnessing and letting go, not being attached to them. And then if we're resisting what's coming up, then we're creating this attachment, which prevents us from deeply relaxing. And so I find it to be very helpful to use the Tibetan bowls as I'm guiding a meditation to bring people into their bodies, to connect to their breath, to connect to their body resting on the ground, and to really make that connection with Mother Earth. Usually that's what I am doing. I am helping people to connect to Mother Earth in that experience, as well as Father Sky, but it's happening through the body. It's happening through the body. I'm creating that connection with one soul star through the body and to the earth star of Mother Earth through their body, and really helping people to come into the awareness of the bridge that we are for heavenly consciousness and earthly consciousness. The human heart is in the middle. In Chinese medicine, there's actually a term called three treasures. They are three acupuncture points located on the body. One of them is Du 20 at the crown here, and then the other one is Ren 17 at the heart, and then the other one is Ren 4 down here on the abdomen. I'm sorry, I have to giggle because abdomen has been a hard word for me to say, but I finally just got it. So that was a celebrating moment of my silly humanness. And so we have these points, and they symbolize the earth, humanity, and the cosmos. And so the human heart is really that bridge between those two energies. And that's, when we step into those enlightened states of being, we are in that place of compassion. We are all loving. We are in a deep state of acceptance. And so I will demonstrate the other way that you can play a Tibetan singing bowl. I have some preferred singing bowls than others, and so I'm just going to show you this one here. Okay, so that's a way that you would sing it, holding it in your hand. It's harder to sing them when they're just on the ground. They usually tend to move unless you have a really big bowl, which I cannot wait until one of those comes into the Sound Tribe. I know that there's one out there who's made for us. But for now, I have these 5 Tibetan singing bowls. And I also have this 6th one I'll show you right here, which has a string on it, which is really awesome because if you're doing in person, it's also really awesome for online sound healing, but if you're doing in-person sound healings, you can actually go over chakras or meridians. You can really create this traveling sound effect, which is a really cool effect to bring into a sound healing session or an energy session, whatever healing session you're doing. And so you'll notice there are different sounds for the Tibetan bowls. They're tuned to different notes. Sometimes you can get a different note while singing it and tapping it. So they can be a little bit inconsistent, but typically they are one note. And so you can create, your harmonious intervals like the thirds and the fifths, which are really opening. And dissonance is not a bad thing in sound. So when we have something that sounds a little bit wonky, I'm pretty sure I can show you a combo right here. The smaller one up there it creates that dissonant effect here. Yeah, so here there's like a wobbliness to it. Dissonance is not bad because dissonance is actually going to help to move and break up stagnant energy. It's going to really help to break down the crystallizations of the traumas, of really just like the stagnant energy, to really like create that jackhammer effect in the body, which is still gentle, but to move the energy and bring it back into flow. And so Tibetan singing bowls really help to bring awareness to our body. It prepares the body for surrender, to be in a state of surrender. And so to support consciousness, I'm going to start over. It supports the presence. So Tibetan singing bowls support us into a deep state of presence so that we can be aware of the mental activity that is happening. And this mental activity, it brings us into a state of clear seeing so that we can see what's actually happening in our mental sphere. What distractions are happening in our mind that are maybe taking up space and energy from our everyday life. And so it's important to not attach to them, but to validate them, to be with them, to notice what repeating things are going through your mind, because it is also showing you maybe what is there to be healed and resolved and let go of. And so when we can be in the place of the neutral witness of what's happening in our mental realm, we're giving permission to old patterns and ways of being to move because they're being seen. And we know that from experience, right? When we are being seen, it is like one of the greatest gifts ever. It gives us permission to move into a new way of being. And so that's initially what's happening with the energy within our bodies. Yes, it brings us into, yes. So Tibetan bowls help to bring the heart, where the heart begins to observe the mind from a state of neutrality with compassion and love. And so that's it. Like any of these maybe negative thoughts that are showing themselves in the beginning of a sound healing experience, it is creating an opportunity for us to meet them with love and compassion and to allow the energy to move, to flow like water. And it opens up our clear sight, our vision, to actually see what's moving and happening in our being. And as long as we don't fall into the trap of resistance of like, oh, like I just can't relax, like all of this is happening, like trust that is a part of your process. There should be things moving. And the entire sound healing journey is going to take you on an experience where maybe you are dealing with more of that mind clutter, and then you come into that state of presence or stillness, whatever you want to call it. And so the Tibetan Singing Bowls helps to reveal where one's judgments lie or where there is resistance. And this is really important because this allows us to see what is unresolved and where it would be worthy to invest our energy. They slow our energy into the natural rhythms and cycles of our body as the heart reclaims its throne and leadership. And so the Tibetan Singing Bowls really help. We live in a very fast-paced society, and so the Tibetan Singing Bowls, these pure tones, help to bring the body back into a state of relaxation, where it slows it slows the vibration. It slows the vibration into a place where we can open back up our body to move energy. And so the Tibetan bowls, I really find, are so powerful for helping one anchor and ground into their body, as well as cleanse and declutter the mental sphere. That's what I find them to be extremely helpful for. I find them to be very supportive for myself of really bringing, as the practitioner, for bringing my awareness into the moment, into that state of trust, so that I trust the guided meditation that is channeling through me. I've learned some techniques of where I like to bring awareness in the body through other healing modalities that I've explored. But for the most part, I am in a deep state of listening and allowing that guided meditation to channel through me. And so I really love doing that part of my experience with Tibetan bowls. I will also bring in a few other tools that are all kind of in the same genre. They're not too loud. It's just really, these help people get into their bodies. And so I'm also using this instrument, my body, as a tool to help guide people into their bodies and give permission to their bodies to let go, relax, enter into a state of unattachment so that true healing can take place. Because the truth is that there is an innate treatment within all of our bodies. We just have to get out of the way and allow the intelligence of our body to do its magic. And so Tibetan singing bowls are really beautiful at the beginning and an end of a ceremony. And of course, there are some people who do like Tibetan singing bowl baths or treatments where that's all you're getting. And that's definitely a worthy experience. You should definitely find someone in your area who can do that for you. Okay, so What we're going to go into right now is actually an experience with the Tibetan Singing Bowls so that you can connect to the the teacher of sound within, and so that you can have an experience, because I've just shared all of these things, and yes, you can take notes, but sound healing is really not something to be memorized. It is something to explore and experience, and you are going to come into the most profound teachings within your own experiences and through, if whatever sound healing you're experiencing, if there is a circle held at the end where people can share their experiences, that is also a very beautiful way to learn about sound healing, because you're going to get to see the diversity of what's possible with sound healing when you can hear about other people's experiences. And what's really cool about the shares is that we share a collective nervous system, with all of life. And then when we come into these conscious events like this, we are sharing it together. And so there can be a lot of synchronicities in what people are healing, and there's a lot of support. And so if you haven't been to one of my free collective sound healing ceremonies, they happen once a month, the last Friday of every month. And so the next one is going to be on Friday. Just let me check. I don't want to say the wrong date, so I'm just gonna, the 31st. So March 31st, I am offering a free collective sound healing ceremony, and it's at 10 a.m. PST, and it goes until about 12. Okay, so headphones are going to give you the best experience with the sound healing tools. Highly recommend headphones. But if earbuds is all you have, that's going to be better than the speaker on your phone or on your computer. And so find a cozy place where you can come, allow your body to relax. And so I personally love lying down. And so lie down if you can, or find somewhere comfortable to sit so that you can support your body into relaxation. Gently bringing your awareness to your breath. Noticing what's alive and present in your body. Feeling your body resting upon the ground. Feeling your relationship with gravity. Bringing all of your awareness to the backside or bottom side of your body to feel that connection with whatever surface you are on, feeling the weight of your bones, feeling the weight of your body resting upon the ground. And as you're breathing into the backside of your body, begin to visualize the roots of your body travel down into the soil of Mother Earth. Beginning to interact with her of intelligence with the roots of the trees and the plants. Inviting the roots of your nervous system to travel deeper into her soil, feeling your connection with the minerals and the mycelium. Feeling your connection with her sacred network of harmony and vitality. On your next inhale, breathing in all of these nutrients from Mother Earth into your nervous system, into your core, and on your next exhale, allowing yourself a sigh, releasing anything that is no longer serving you, releasing old beliefs and patterns so that Mother Earth can recreate, recycle these energies into new life. Taking a few breaths here, inhaling the nutrients of Mother Earth, the support and stability of her being, and exhaling any old energy, maybe even giving your body a shake. Just really inviting your body to release all stagnant old energy back into the sacred soil of Mother Earth. Feeling her rejoice as you give back to her the things that no longer serve you. Allowing yourself to feel and notice this sacred cycle of life as you release these toxins, these old ways of being. You are breathing in new connections, new networks, new states of being. Allowing your awareness now to travel to the core of her being, to the Earth Star, and just feeling your nervous system deeply anchor and connect to the core of her being, feeling the stability and support. Breathing the life force energy into your nervous system, into your spine, into your chakras. Inviting your nervous system to relax and surrender into her care. Breathing this energy up into your spine, traveling your awareness up your spine, into your crown, and out through your crown to meet your soul star. Wherever that is for you, trusting your intuition and beginning to connect with your inner radiance, the radiance coming from your higher self, and allowing it to shower down into your nervous system, through your crown, traveling down your spine, feeling this connection with your infinite spirit, your timeless beauty, and the wonder that you truly are. And now simultaneously breathing in the connection from your soul star and from Mother Earth into your heart, feeling these connections come together and unify within your heart. Feeling these energies expand the electromagnetic field of your heart, expanding your presence and compassion for yourself, and allowing yourself to stay in a receptive space, to receive the wisdom from your heart, the nurturance from your heart, and whatever it is that Great Spirit wishes to communicate to you in this space of surrender. Gently bringing your awareness back to your breath and into your body, noticing how your energy is expressing itself. Noticing the subtleties, noticing how you feel in your body. Noticing how the sound has nurtured you. Noticing if you feel a deeper state of connection to your body. Experiencing strengthened trust with your body, the intelligence residing within. And just taking a few moments to journal your experience, anything that you may have learned from the teacher of sound within. Just taking a few moments to integrate your experience, to put words to something that may be even hard to put words to, but to allow yourself the gift and permission of expressing yourself and allowing yourself to be free from this idea of perfectionism. And so just allowing yourself to note how your experience was, what the Tibetan bowls, what kind of experience they created within your own being, what kind of energy you maybe felt moving, what did you notice in your mental sphere, how did you feel before and after. These are kind of good starting points to explore and to open up to the teacher of sound within, because sound helps us to connect to our innate wisdom. And so wisdom, as we know, it's not something that's studied, it's something that comes through experience and embodiment. And so trust your experience. You can even leave a comment. I would love to hear about your experience with the Tibetan Singing Bowls, what your takeaway was, what maybe resonated with what I was sharing before we went into the experience. And we are now going to, and maybe you want to take a few moments, maybe even pause the video to stretch your legs before we come into the next chapter of this play shop, which is exploring the gongs. And so I have two gongs down here. One of them is a planetary gong, Venus. This is the Venus symbol. And so if you're an astro geek and you know where Venus is, then you know, it's so beautiful working with the planets, because then we can really work with our divine blueprint of our natal charts, because that's really what a natal chart is this divine blueprint. And so Venus for me is in the second house, and so she's very powerful for activating my senses and my ability to manifest abundance in a way that's soul aligned for me. And so we will come back in moments to explore the gongs. Welcome to the chapter of gongs. Gongs, oh my God, if we're going to talk about a timeless instrument, these guys, I feel like people have tried to put a date on since where they came from, but I honestly feel like these divine tools are not only existing in this realm. And so the gong is like one of my most favorite tools. I don't think I could ever like choose, but the gong is a powerful tool. It is a powerful tool to allow us to enter into a state of oneness where we can almost, and it's not disassociating with the body, because the gong brings you so deep into your body that you remember the vastness of space that is existing within your body. And so it is so profound, such a profound tool. It has long been a symbol of spiritual power. And the way I use gongs in my journeys, and so I just want to let everyone know that there is not like a fixed structure that I follow for my sound healing ceremonies. I am in complete surrender and trust of the creative wisdom that is channeling through me. And so I'm listening to higher guidance the entire time, allowing the instruments to play me, and the divine is playing all of us. And so it is a collaboration. All of my sound healing ceremonies are a collaboration. I am completely, deeply listening to the being of, or beings of whoever I'm working with, and the spirit guidance that is coming through me. And so it's a state of deep surrender. It's been cultivated through cultivating my relationship with sound, strengthening my trust through every experience. I've actually been wanting to add up how many sound ceremonies I've done, because I feel like I'm definitely in the hundreds. And so it's that I've shared with others. And so I feel like it's definitely been a skill that's been cultivated. It's all a skill. And yeah, it lights up my soul in ways I cannot describe. I love surrendering my vessel to Great Spirit. And so let's move into the gongs. I wouldn't say I use them in a way, but this is what I've noticed, what I've learned about gongs through my own experience, and what I've interpreted from other people's experiences, through my clients' experiences. And so the gong is played with mallets. I have many different mallets. The most traditional mallet is this one right here. Just a little tease, you know? So this is a traditional mallet. There's different sizes. These are both Paiste gongs. There's many gongs around the world. There's tons of people who are making gongs. But yeah, Paiste is the gongs I have inherited so far. The one behind me is a 32-inch symphonic gong, and so it's not tuned to a specific planet, which I kind of really love, because it allows me to surrender whatever benevolent being or beings or energy from source that wants to come through. Really, the gong, I feel like, is my biggest support as a practitioner to bring through source energy, healing energy that can create profound cellular awakening within someone, profound healing, to move stagnant energy. The gong is like, oh my God. Can we bliss about the gong? If you have one, please comment down below. I would love to hear about what gong you have, how it came into your possession, and how you bliss out with it, please. And so this is the Venus gong. She's all about community, abundance, having more than enough to share with her community. She's all about beauty. And so in being beautiful, we are allowing ourselves to be seen. And so Venus is very supportive in allowing ourselves to be seen. She helps us step into our soul's elegance, into our state of prosperity. She is deeply connected with her senses, and so she understands the ways of cultivating abundance, which is through trust and through the senses of feeling. Venus rules both Taurus and Libra, and so these are both earth signs. She's an earth element. She brings balance. She represents the feminine aspect of our consciousness. Yeah, she's all about collaboration and cooperation, and so really coming together in a harmonious way. She's all about harmony. And so she brings this energy into the ceremonies, which is really beautiful. She's all about love and compassion. And to be honest, I have not brought her into many of my sound ceremonies because I am in need of a new stand so that I can stack them and have them both down here, because where I usually have, where I have Venus right now, I usually have 2 crystal singing bowls. And I usually switch up some stuff. Sometimes I do. Actually, I have brought Venus down, but I did move this the big guy back here. But yeah, so I'm going to move into what I've learned about the gong. And one of the things that I've learned is that it clears away scattered energy at a cellular level, helping to unpack old programs and patterns residing within our subconscious mind. And so I feel like the Tibetan bowls are really like a good entry point into supporting people into their bodies and starting to let the things move. But there's very much that conscious awareness. When the gongs come in, I've noticed that the mental sphere completely dissolves. And so true space begins to be created. The gongs are so powerful at creating space in the body. And space in the body translates to movement, which translates to vitality and prosperity. And so the gongs are really powerful at reminding our body of its natural state of vibration. And so what happens is that the frequencies, the gongs emit a symphony of frequencies. When you order them, they like, this is tuned to Venus right here. I believe she's an A. She's an approximate A. I could be wrong. I'd have to just get up and double check my chart over there. But I'm not going to in this moment. If you want, you can write it in the comments and I will let you know down there. But so if you hit her in the middle, she is going to be tuned to that exact frequency of Venus. But she is still a symphony of frequencies, much more than just one frequency. So as you can see, gongs are diverse beings, reminding our being of our diversity, of the coherence, of all of the parts that are existing within us. And so it vibrates all of our parts into remembrance so that we can move from the old story, an old state of separation, back into unity consciousness. And so the gongs are really great at moving stuck or stagnant energy. It really feel like if you just want to picture at a cellular shake, a cellular shake and cleanse, it's moving the debris. It's breaking up that calcification from trauma, from wounds in our nervous system to create space in our nervous system and to inform our nervous system that it is safe, that it is held by the Divine Mother and Father. These are very high consciousness beings. They are beings that attune our human vessel into its divine expression. And so they clear and harmonize our body's meridians. And so for those of you who are not aware, we have 12 meridians in our body that are connected to our organs. They begin on our hands and feet. And so we have meridians on our hands and feet, and they run up our arms and up our legs to meet in our core. And so our organs are connected to our movement. They're connected to our fingers in Kundalini Yoga. For those of you who do not know, I am a certified Kundalini Yoga teacher, and the fingers are connected to the planets. And right, pretty cool. The cosmos are residing within us, and the gong really helps us to remember that and reestablish our universal connection to the coherence of divinity expressing itself in an infinite universe. And so the gongs really help to clear and harmonize our meridians. These are universal energetic highways. And so if we are experiencing blocks in some of our meridians, that can manifest as, the dysfunction in the organs. And we know that our organs are also connected to our emotions. Everything is interconnected. Everything is connected. Just for an example, anyone who's dealing maybe with unresolved anger, like the liver is connected to anger, the lungs are connected to grief. And so there's going to be, the gong really supports these meridians to clear away stagnant energy so that it can come back into coherence with the divine blueprint that is living within you, that is maybe just covered by things. What happens when our nervous system is overwhelmed with trauma? There is an overwhelm, there is a clutter, there is things piled on top of the divine perfectionism of our existence beneath it. And so it helps to move the energy that is creating the illusion that we are anything but divine. And so, such powerful beings. The gongs help to dissolve the mind. Whatever has not been dissolved through the Tibetan bowls, the gongs just really help to help people let go and enter into a state of surrender and deep receptivity. Yeah, into a state of presence. The gong creates an experience of deeply being present with in the present moment, anchored in the present moment, where the future and past are no longer these separate things. Like, it's like everything comes into this focal point. So the gongs are so powerful. They awaken dormant cells and memories. And so what happens when we have this cellular awakening, these dormant cells that come online, like the gongs get into the crevices of our entire being, places that were dormant, that were not even known that they were existing. They begin to vibrate and pulsate with their innate wisdom, with their vitality. And it begins to inform the rest of our body of their existence. And so there's more support that's created in our body, more harmony, more vitality. And so what can also happen in these dormant cells awakening is also this, there can become a remembrance of our divinity, where we can have a very intimate experience with God existing within us. And these experiences are so profound that they reprogram our subconscious mind. And so we begin to live in a reality where we experience unity and where our awareness expands. Like, the gong is really beautiful for expanding our awareness. And so as we're making these paradigm shifts into new ways of being, from the old stories of separation into the stories of unity, our awareness is expanded so we can catch the old ways of being. And with our awareness and conscious choices, we can embody the new way of being. And so in this cellular awakening, it's helping us to remember our soul's origin and truth. Really, that's what the gongs do, is they help us come back to what's true. What's true about who and what we are, and what the rest of this world means. The gongs entrain the body to a higher, more subtle frequency, activating our light body. And the light body is what helps us to merge with God, to experience oneness. It is the bridge to the God that is existing within us, or God's, whatever term you're using, like, please just use that, but it will take you to that and beyond. It'll take you beyond what you knew was possible or what you knew existed. And that experience cannot always be translated into words, but your cells will remember the frequency of that experience, which helps support your body into more universal support, more harmony, more flow, more synchronicity. So it's a very, very powerful experience to be working with these gongs. And so the gongs open up pathways to the spiritual realms, to the subtle realms. And we're all very used to, like, seeing a tree. Most of us learned about trees when we're probably kids, or like we at least knew they were trees. But maybe we were not able to connect to the spirit of that tree. Or maybe we were not able to, most kids are very connected, depends. We all experience disconnection at certain different times of our lives. Or it just gets covered up by the illusions of separation and the stories of separation that our world is. Sometimes, I look for words and I don't get them, but that, what we're being fed by mainstream media, that we're not enough, all of these things, that we have to be one way, that there's like 10 shoeboxes to fit into, so choose one. There's not a lot of space from our external conditioning. There's been a lot of conditioning that has covered up that subtle connection to the spiritual realms, like the fairy kingdom, like the angel kingdom. And so when we start to work with gongs, they bring in spiritual support. They reconnect us to the subtle realms of spirit. And so what can happen is we can have these spirit journeys. We can commune and interact with higher aspects of ourselves. We can reunite with our star tribe, our star family, and we can receive guidance from the many benevolent facets of spirit. And so I really love journeying with the gongs. But, we can have very many different experiences. We can have somatic experiences. But what I'm speaking to right now with the spiritual realms is that they open up doorways to spiritual realms, is that we can commune with higher frequency beings, not meaning better, but just higher frequency beings that can help us connect to cosmic wisdom residing within us. All of these beings that the gongs connect us to are connecting us to facets of ourself initially. And we all go through this process of self-worth, being able to accept the truth of that we are that benevolent, that we are that beautiful. And so it's a beautiful process because we get to like blossom and unfurl into more and more of our beauty. It's like, it's a wonder. And so if you want to experience more joy and bliss in your life, like honestly bring sound healing into your journey of healing and awakening, of being able to freely express yourself. You're not going to regret it. It's something we should all cultivate a relationship with. I honestly see sound healing being a part of education from a young age, where parents have it as support, kids have it as support, and we can maintain that divine connection with the soul so that we don't have to go through that experience of separation. And so sound is a very powerful tool to have in our tool belt. And we can start to see that like everything is sound, everything is frequency. And so when we consciously begin to work with sound, there is so much beauty that opens up to us. Because it's like, oh, you're talking the universal language, which is sound. The universal language is sound. And that's why, there's like an explosion of light workers and light language. What we call light language is because beings are learning how to surrender their divine instrument to God. Sorry, I just had a burp. To God, so that they can be a transmitter of these high frequencies for healing. So powerful. And people have experiences. Even though it doesn't make sense, people are having experiences because the body does not lie. And that's what sound healing does. It brings us into that body wisdom that we cannot deny, we cannot reject. We finally have that presence to be with the the wisdom of the body, and we create more space for that by cultivating a relationship with it. This stuff excites me. Okay, so when we're also working with the gongs, they open up new perceptions of awareness, leading to liberation from ancestral trauma, collective wounds of separation, and suffering. And so what this means is that it opens up new perceptions, is that like it is opening up new neural pathways within our brain, within our consciousness, so that we can start to perceive life from a state of unity, because the sound vibrates all of our cells into unison, into harmony with each other. And so as that's starting to happen within our being, that's what we start to experience outside of ourselves. Even if things are not in agreement with, the new world we know is possible, we see beauty there. We have acceptance there. And those are the stepping stones into the new world. We need to be those bridges. We need to allow space for evolution and not expect it to be like, a snap of the finger. And so what I mean about this, so I want to go into this a little more. I talked about how, the gongs can wake up dormant cells and memories within those cells. And so what's actually possible with the gongs is past life regression, ancestral healing, and soul retrieval. And so I've had many clients that are able to access past life memories to bring resolution and understanding to maybe some of the energetic blocks they've been experiencing in their life. Whether that was for creative expression or for their service, or maybe even trying to conceive. It's when we can connect to our ancestral line. So sometimes it's not even a past life we've had, but maybe we can understand more deeply the trauma our grandmother experienced, which then can understand like, oh, like this is why like this is here. Because like we are at a place right now where we are no longer pushing down. And I have so much love and compassion for our ancestors. And I know that they were doing the best they could with the tools they had. And planetarily, like on a planetary sense, energies have lightened and lifted up. And so all of our ancestors have, treaded the way. Like sometimes it's a little harder to, I don't even know what to compare it to right now, but they did the best they can. And right now we're at a place where there's so much grace available where we can really we can stop wasting our resources to push things down and deny them, to reject feeling them, and we can allow them to move. And what's really amazing about the gongs is that we can tap into the remembrance and we can connect to the feeling of these traumas, these ancestral imprints, but we're not getting lost in the story. And I feel like something that's prevented a lot of healing in the past is that, or like even forgiveness, is like we can get caught in the stories of things rather than just allowing them to move, to feel them, and to not make something wrong with us because of them. Right now in my life, I'm experiencing the wonder of, in my relationship, we had some challenging things come up, and it's beautiful to see the ripples it's had on the ancestral line and how these deeper roots are coming up for healing. And I'm like, wow, that was worth it. That was so worth it. And, it kind of makes me emotional because it's like, wow, it's bigger than us. It's bigger than us. And there's nothing wrong with us because we're getting these experiences. Don't make it about you, but allow space for authentic feeling because that is important. That is what moves and frees the energy. And so the gongs remind our cellular DNA of its natural state of prosperity, which is living in connection and remembrance of the true self, And so something else that's really beautiful about the gongs, and I kind of touched on this a little bit when I spoke of being able to access spiritual realms, is that the gongs create altered states of consciousness. They bring us into that state of imagination, which we live in from the time we are 0 until we're 7. I'm pretty sure it's Bruce Lipton. You can like YouTube him and find some of his material because he does talk about sound healing, but he's a quantum physicist. And anyways, from 0 to 7, we are in a state of imagination. And what happens in imagination? We are being programmed. We are literally sponges, receiving information and learning how to be in harmony with the world. And sometimes learning how to be in harmony in the world, we're seeing is not our soul's truth. And so as we're on this human journey and experience, we get to come back into remembrance of our truth. At least in this time for us. If you're here, then, that's available for you. And so embrace it. It is a divine gift that your ancestors have worked really hard for. And so I'm just going to get some water here. I'm getting a little too excited. Oh yeah, fun fact, water stores memory. And so our body. And so when we're going into those altered states of consciousness, our body is 70% water, we are reprogramming the conditioning we received as children. When we are bathing in the frequencies of the gongs, of sound healing frequencies, we are being restored to our divine blueprint. And so there is subconscious reprogramming happening. We are being attuned to the God frequency within us, which is so beautiful, right? Like, I'm sure you want more of that because there is an infinite amount of that frequency to come out. And I guarantee you bring sound into your experience, you're going to be bathing. You're going to be like dripping in divinity. Trust me, sister. You're going to want this in your life. And so what's really awesome about creating these altered states where we can access these altered states of consciousness with the gong is that it's very much like plant medicine, only we're not having to consume something that, like alters us where maybe we can't be in the real world right away. Like people aren't just doing plant medicine and walking around. Yeah, but like, and sometimes it can take a while. Like if you feel called to have plant medicine ceremony, like answer that call. I've sat in many ceremonies and they've always been soul aligned and there's been so much healing that has happened there. But sound allows us to access that within like an hour meditation. We don't need to spend like 12, 24 hours in a plant medicine ceremony. We can get there in an hour and you can come out of it being able to integrate your experience. Maybe not right away, but you're going to definitely integrate some of it right away. And maybe over the next week, you'll integrate more of it right away. But sound healing can be a very frequent thing in your life that allows you to go through transformation with a lot of grace, allows you to cultivate a space where you can hold all feelings with love. And that's emotional maturity. That's what we all want to evolve into. And so these are the beautiful gongs. I'm going to give you an experience with them so that you can connect to your own divine wisdom, your body's intelligence. And so I invite you once again, make sure you have headphones, especially for the gongs, because they are just like, they are wonders of the world. And so find somewhere comfy to lie down or to sit, whatever's available for you right now, and we'll go into an experience with the gongs. Gently bringing your awareness to your breath and into your body. Breathing into the space, noticing where new space has opened up. And allowing yourself to feel that connection with Source, with Great Spirit. Noticing your cells, how they're vibrating and communicating with the rest of your body. Noticing any sensations, any feelings, any emotions, any thoughts, any subtle communications from Spirit. Just being curious about what's opened up, what's shifted, what this sound healing experience with the gongs has gifted you. Trusting whatever it is that you receive, the wisdom that you are open and grateful for. Maybe inviting a nice big inhale, filling your abdomen and your diaphragm, your chest. And with a sigh, feeling yourself arrive back into this space, gently opening your eyes, taking some time and space now to journal about your experience, to write down anything that comes to mind. Like I said, sometimes it's hard to put words to it, but just do your best. Trust what's in there to be able to communicate that experience, because the truth is that, you know, it is this beautiful process of surrender to describe that experience of oneness, that the unseen experiences we have with Spirit. And so take the time, maybe even pause this video so that you have a little more time to jot down your experience, what you learned from these teachers, and how they could bring more grace into your healing journey. If you're interested in having deeper experiences with them, I have other videos on my YouTube channel that you can have a full sound healing ceremony, like an hour long of sound, so that you can have a really deep experience. But take these moments to jot down any insights that might have come. The gongs, I didn't mention this earlier, but they're really beautiful at opening up that space to receive that creative wisdom, where we can have these insights and downloads, these inspirations. Like in inspiration, I think it was in a breathwork ceremony one time where the teacher was like, inspiration is like to be in spirit. And so these inspirations we receive in the sound healing ceremonies, in the presence of life, are initiations into action. And so we get to choose to bring these things into fruition. Because if not, like, ideas are just ideas, and Spirit is going to nominate someone else for that idea because it has a divine plan. That being said, no one's ever going to take your journey. Like, there's only something that you can fulfill in this life. And so trust when you do take action, and also support yourself into more action. If you feel like you've maybe held a lot of space for ideas and haven't followed through on them, bring in a follow through. And if you can't do it on your own, find support. So we are going to go into the rattles. And so please take a few moments, pause this video, stretch your body, move your body, maybe dance a little bit, put on a song, just move your energy so that we can come in here to gather together to connect with the rattles, the medicine of the rattles. I'm excited to see you there. Okay, so now we're going to move into the third chapter of our sound healing experience, which is with the rattles. The rattles. You know, they are a shamanic tool. They have a lot of their roots in indigenous cultures. The rattle has a way of creating a sacred rhythm. And so it can entrain our consciousness into altered states. It's really powerful as a smudge. Really, that's what the rattle is. When we're working with the rattle, it's to be very ceremonial with it, to use it as a smudge because it breaks up stagnant energy. You know, the sounds of the rattle make that very clear, and to experience it, I have found the rattle to be such a cool experience in the mental realm where you can really feel like any knots, any tight tension that's residing within our consciousness, within our nervous system. The rattle has a way of just like grooving in there and breaking things up so that things can come back into movement, because vitality is movement, health is movement, prosperity is movement, creativity is movement. We need to be in movement, not stagnation, and experience newness, change. Movement is like change. Change is good. Change allows us to experience new ways of being, higher frequencies. It's a part of our evolution. And so rattles, when I'm using them in my ceremonies, usually when I'm bringing in the rattle has spoken to me, it's called me. And so then I pick up the rattle and I close my eyes when I'm doing the rattle, and I can usually receive a visual imprint of where I'm rattling on a being. And sometimes it's not just a one-on-one sound ceremony. Sometimes it's a group sound ceremony where maybe I'll just see the throat. I feel like that visual of rattling the throat comes up a lot because it is a big thing that's being collectively cleared right now, is being able to speak our truth, having the freedom to speak our truth, knowing that we're not going to be persecuted. And so, especially for women, because collectively there has been a shunning and shutting down of the feminine voice, denying her of her leadership and her wisdom. And so there's a lot of healing there. And it's not just in like, oh, I'm a woman body that healing's happening for me. It's also for the men, because it's like the truth that's coming from the unknown, unseen realms. It's the truth that's coming from inside. It's not maybe validated by certificates or studies and proof. It's coming from a place of knowing within. And so it's not just limited to the divine, the woman body. It's also like that healing is there for the male body as well. And so I will generally see a place that will come to me when I'm in these sessions of what's getting cleared. Like I said, I stay in a very like receptive space. And so I am not trying to do anything. I am simply open to receive and witness what's happening. And so sometimes I'm going to bounce back a little bit, because one thing I would have liked to shared with the gongs is that I journey for my clients. And so that generally happens with the gong. Sometimes it also happens with the drum. But where I will meet my client in my healing space, in my spiritual realm of healing, where I start my spirit journeys to travel to other places within the universe, within this body, and I will receive information that I then convey to my clients about what I saw, the type of healing that happened. And so the gongs allow me to journey for my clients, which is like really amazing, like super experienced doing it for myself. And it's actually, like, completely honest, it's a new skill and gift that's opened up. And so, yeah, I'm like celebrating it and sharing it and allowing that wisdom to come through. And so back to the rattles. The rattles are often made with with shells, with gourds, with animal skin, with wood. They're very earthy. Very earthy. So there is this like this common theme of grounding elements. Like the rattles are very grounding. I'm just going to take a sip of water. And so not only are they made of these like very earthly things that are like harvested from the earth. These shells, they're harvested from the earth, and then we make these instruments with them, where there's a lot more, like, the gongs, the Tibetan bowls, they still are natural elements, but there's a lot more human intervention that has to go into creating them. And so with the rattles, they're very like, they're almost in their natural state. And they've not had to be like molded and, like sculpted by humans. They're like very much in their like natural state. And what's interesting is that they actually like carry these sounds of the elements. Like rattles, some of them sound like water. Some of them sound like earthy and woody, and other ones can even sound like crackly, like fire. I've yet to find a rattle that maybe sounds like wind, but the motion of a rattle could sound like, like the sway could be very windy like. So anyways, I really feel that it takes us to stay in our childlike curiosity to explore these sound healing tools, because you're not just going to find someone who's going to tell you all the possibilities. There's like countless ways to discover of how to work with these tools. And our intention behind these tools is going to be our greatest ally and really bring the power to them, because we are an instrument playing these instruments. And so it's a beautiful collaboration. This is a bigger recording than I'm used to, so I'm just going to hydrate myself. I may even have to pause and go get some honey for my throat, but we'll see. So, rattles break up and move old energy connected to trauma and old patterns / beliefs. And so what this means is that the stuff that's been calcified in our body, it just like brings in that movement to break it up, to move it. And this is really powerful because it allows movement to come back into our lives. And so this sacred smudge is really, it's like dusting away the clutter, the illusions of separation, the disempowering beliefs, to bring someone back into, to uncover, that's the right word, to uncover the divinity beneath the clutter. And so the rattles are really powerful for this, and they create space in the mind. And so, it breaks up energy in the mind. I've talked about this. It's like the rattles get into there and there's more space that's created. And so the rattles help create space in the body for movement to happen. They create a feeling and texture of our elements. I've already gone over that. Oh, this is juicy. And so they interrupt patterns. Rattles interrupt patterns. They bring in a new texture and can really shift the energy. That's why working with many sound healing tools is really powerful, because you're taking someone through a journey of many layers and textures of sound. And so when the rattles come in, they really interrupt something. And often this interruption is interrupting these negative patterns of energy and thought patterns. And so it helps to just like move them so that new life can emerge. They are purifying, cleansing, and they create movement. Went over that. Okay. Oh, okay. So they create rhythm, which helps us to entrain energy into an altered state in a new way of being. And so they just excite ourselves in a different way. And so I think that the best way to learn about the rattle is through experience. And so this has kind of been, a briefer introduction into the rattles, but honestly, the biggest takeaway about the rattle is it's a ceremonial smudge. It is a sound healing smudge. And that's why rattles are used a lot in plant medicine ceremonies. Rattles, I sometimes, not always, mainly when I'm like channeling my earthly goddess within, great spirit, allowing that to channel through me. I'm often using my drum, but I do sometimes use the rattle. And the rattle can be a really nice tool to support that channel. And so we're going to go, maybe I'll do that for you today actually. So we're going to go into an experience with the rattles. And so I invite you to lie down or to sit somewhere comfy, whatever's available to you right now. And just begin to drop into your body, bringing awareness to your breath. And maybe taking a moment, let's create a little bit of a deeper experience here. Maybe taking a moment to tune into your heart. Feeling your breath, inviting your breath to breathe into your heart. And just see what's there that maybe wants to move. Allow yourself to receive a gift from your heart that wants to move with this support of the sound, the support of the rattles. And just set an intention for this to move, to feel gratitude for this opportunity, for this healing. And allow the rattles to take you on a journey and to trust your experience. Nahiyam, Nahiyam Yo. Nahiyam, Nahiyam, Nahiyam Nayo. Nahiyo, Nahiyo, Nahiyo Yahe. Nayo, Nahiyo, Nahiyo Mahe. Nayando Kaya, Nayandaya Ko. Nayanda Kaya, Nakahiyana O. Eroko nayo, eroko nahe, eroka nayo, iraroko he, ea he, ea he, ea he, ea he, ea he, ea he. Gently bringing your awareness back into your body, noticing the effects of the rattles, how that moved your energy into its current expression, noticing how you feel, noticing maybe what's moved. Maybe even giving your body a shake to just move that energy that the rattle just moved. Maybe bringing your hands out and just shaking them, wiggling your body, and maybe wiggling your breath in a sigh. And just move that energy, and maybe just take the time to trace your hands along your arms, your torso, your hips, and down your legs to just move away that energy. And as you're coming back into this space, I invite you to please take some time to journal about your experience, how the rattles felt for you. I'll just let you know that, I usually don't do tons of rattles. I will sprinkle in a rattle at a time, maybe two. Yeah. And so you probably had a lot of different experiences with the rattles, but that's really good because it allows you to see the diversity and what's really available out there in the world of rattles, because there was different textures to them. And so you can rewind and revisit that if you like. But please just take the time to note what you experienced, how that felt in your body. Did it feel like a smudge? Did you feel energy move? Did you feel stagnant energy move? Because that's essentially the intention, is to bring back movement into our body to create space for our divine expression. And so that brings us to the final moments here. We have gone through all 3 chapters of the Tibetan Singing Bowls, the gongs, and the rattles, all very grounding sound healing tools. And so please, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment down below because I would love to hear about your experience. Please share anything you feel called to. If you want to go really deep in your share, you can reach out to me on Instagram. If you're not already following me, it's at Acaisha Godwin. My website is also acaishagodwin.com. Pretty easy. Same name you see on my YouTube channel. And if you're interested in booking a session, you can check out my sound healing sessions there, my sound healing ceremonies. And if you're interested in exploring how sound healing could be a part of your healing journey, how you can maybe even bring it into your offerings with your own clients, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. It's been such a beautiful pleasure to spend this time with you and to share the abundance of prosperity that sound has brought to me. And so I hope this has been soul nourishing. Sat Nam, Angel.